Hey GV Gang, Brandon here with another Nintendo Switch news update, and this one is pretty exciting. So we already knew that some Nintendo Switch 1 games would be getting Nintendo Switch 2 editions with improved frame rates and visuals and things of that nature, but there was also a list of games that were going to get free updates, and up until this point it wasn't entirely clear what those updates were going to be, but Nintendo apparently has just updated the page, and now we know when the updates are coming out. Spoiler alert, all of them are coming out on launch day, and what they actually are. So let's go over this list here because this is pretty cool. Right up here at the top, we have ARMS, which will include a visual update optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 display and high-resolution TVs for improved image quality. Frame rate optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 for smoother movement, even when playing with 3 or more players. That's the key here. So you're no longer going to go down to 30 FPS when you're doing the 3 and 4 player modes, which is a big plus. Also, HDR support. I don't know why I wasn't expecting these games to get HDR support, but that's also a welcome surprise. We've also got Big Brain Academy Brain vs. Brain, which interestingly doesn't get any visual improvements or FPS improvements at all. Not that it really needed it, but it does, however, allow you to play with up to 4 people in party mode and share locally or share online with game chat. So that's cool. I actually don't have this game, so I don't have a lot to say about that. Moving on, we have Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Visuals, again, optimized for high resolution. I imagine most of these are probably going to be 1440p, maybe upscaled to 4K. Some of them might even be native 4K. But I would say 1440p is probably a baseline for docked play for these games, and then 1080p in handheld. It's also getting HDR support, and it's getting game share support, so 2 people can play all of the courses online, and of course there's game chat. Then we have Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. This is an absolute banger of a game. It is getting game share support. Up to 4 people can play 34 games. We knew this was coming. That's pretty exciting. There weren't a lot of 4-player games in the game, so it's not clear to me if some of these will be getting 4-player support, or if they're just saying this holistically to account for all play setups. That's what I assume it's saying, but we'll find out. Game Builder Garage is getting improved visuals for Nintendo Switch 2, and it's getting Joy-Con 2 mouse mode support, which is super cool. This game already has mouse support as far as I'm aware, so getting it with the Joy-Con 2 just makes a lot of sense, so that's really exciting to have here. I do wish the game was getting an update to allow you to share games in the game instead of using codes, but apparently that's just not happening. Moving on, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe notably is not getting game share at all, which is weird, but it is getting visual updates. Okay, like, I'll take a visual update for this game, that's fine, that's cool, but why no game share? This is a game that would have made a lot of sense for game share. Anyway, this one's big. We knew these were on the list, so it's cool to finally have confirmation that both Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are getting visual updates and frame rate improvements. Whether or not that really takes it the whole way and makes these games not look like butt remains to be seen. But it is exciting that this will be available on launch day. So literally 3 weeks from the time that I'm recording this video, we will know if Scarlet and Violet are in an acceptable state or not. Super Mario 3D World's a really interesting one because you have Super Mario 3D World and you have Bowser's Fury, and there's actually updates to both and some that don't apply to both. Let me explain. We have visuals and frame rate. Frame rate specifically says including Bowser's Fury, but visuals does not. But I assume it also will have visual updates. More interesting is HDR support is coming to Bowser's Fury only. So Super Mario 3D World, the bright, colorful, beautiful game that it is not getting HDR support, but Bowser's Fury is, and that's really weird. Why? I don't understand. I am excited to play Bowser's Fury with stable frame rate and higher resolution, assuming it does get higher resolution. This Like, we have updates here, we have all these details, but it's still, like, Nintendo vague. We don't have numbers. So this is what we're working with. It's getting game share support as well. So up to 4 people can play Super Mario 3D World together. This also applies to Bowser's Fury, and then, of course, game chat. Share locally or share online. So this game is getting game share, but the other multiplayer Mario game isn't. Is it because that game doesn't already have an online mode? That's the only reason I can think of. Now, one that I'm really excited about is a visual update for Super Mario Odyssey. It's also getting HDR support. The game's already capped at 60 FPS, so there's not really a need to touch that. This game uses a lot of dynamic resolution. It can look quite fuzzy at times, so I'm excited to see Super Mario Odyssey at its full potential in beautiful 1440p, maybe 4K graphics with HDR. I think this game is going to shine in a way it never has before. Very excited to try it again with these updates. It's also getting game share support, so if someone wants to play as Cappy for some reason, now they can over game share. And then we have The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Both of these games are getting visual improvements and HDR support, which is great. Notably, there's no mention of frame rate, and both of these games do struggle with frame rate. And I've been trying to figure out why that might be, and I think it's because the games are already capped at 60 FPS. They're just unstable on Switch 1, so perhaps they didn't need to do any actual tweaks to the FPS in the games at all, and they'll just run better by default. That's my assumption. I hope that's true, because, they're beautiful games, and they're top-down Zeldas, and those aren't the kind of Zelda games you'd expect to have performance problems. So you potentially have 4 Zelda games with high-definition graphics at 60 FPS to play on Switch 2 launch day, unless you're Daniel. I'm kidding. No, this is all really exciting. I'm glad that we know that these come out on launch day. I'm glad that we have more specific details about what's actually included in them. There's some great stuff here, and we have our work cut out for us. I'm scared. Let me know which of these games you're interested in trying out with their Switch 2 enhancements in the comments below. Are there games you wish were here that aren't? Let us know that as well down below. But thank you for your continued support. If you want more Switch 2 news, reviews, and everything in between, come here to GVG, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you next time. Keep the games good and the vibes greater. Bye now.